Hi guys, good morning and good afternoon to you. Now I'm just waiting for people to come. Okay, we have already one, and as I said, we will start this live after a long time that I didn't make one. We will start in 4 minutes. Hi Marcin, how are you? Such a long time. So let's just wait for people. And so I have always my habitual setup. This time I have a nice lamp, a LED lamp in front of me. I have a new arm holding the telephone, which is much better than the one I had before. I found this on Amazon. And then of course in front of me I have always my PC, my computer with with no voice, no sound, so I can check what's going on live on the video. So, hi guys, good. I'm happy to know that you are doing fine. I'm fine, thanks. Vacation it's over. Too bad. Let's put this a little bit higher, like that. Okay, maybe this is better like that. Okay. So today we are going to talk about a very important subject, because a lot of people ask me, but what do you expect from students that come out of school and they start working as a young designer in a real design studio? And this is of course this is the curiosity of everybody. Imagine you were just finishing school, you go for your job interview. It's time they tell you you are hired, and then you are so happy. And of course it's the most important moment probably of your life. Your dream comes true. You are becoming a real car designer, and very soon you will get into a design studio. And that's something so magic. I know, because I had that, so I know what it means. At the same time, when this happens, we do not know exactly what's gonna happen, and what are we expecting to find, and most of all, what the company is expecting from us. So expecting from you that are a young designer ready to go and start your designer career. Of course, we are talking about the very beginners, okay? The people that for the first time are hired. So they go to a design studio and they discover their setup, where is their desk, their office. They will meet the new colleagues, stuff like that. So we have to say that if on one side we are very excited that we are getting to finally into the design studio, on the other side we might be a little bit scared, because what we really don't know, it's basically, what does it mean to be a car designer in the real world? I mean, how do I start my day? How do I work on projects? What is really expecting from me? And how do I take my time to use it in a wise way, so that my colleagues, I can help my colleagues. And most of all, I am young, I have no experience at all. So how my role is gonna play within a design studio, where of course there are other people that have more experience than me, starting from my colleagues to the top management. So those are the questions that many times, people ask themselves. They say, but how, Luciano, please tell us what's gonna happen. I mean, what do you really expect from us? So basically what happens when someone new arrives in our design studio, in any design studio, he will discover, of course, from day one, all the most important information, will have the most important information of the design studio, the rules, company policy, the place where he or she will work, will discover the HR personal department that will talk about we do this, we do that, we don't do this, and we don't do that, and this is our philosophy, and all that stuff. And then the young hired designer will meet the colleagues, and then the manager, and then the design director, and then little by little he will meet the whole design department. Because when you go in a major car company, like for example is the group Renault Group, where for which I work since a long time now, of course we have big design studios, we have several design studios, and not only in France, also in the world. We have in India, in Korea, we got one in Romania for the Dacia, and so on. So the family, the design family and designers family within one of those big car companies, it's big, it's not small. But if you go and start working for a company that is a smaller company, let me think, Pininfarina, for example, in Torino, which everybody knows, or Ital Design, they also have some antenna studios or really nice studios abroad, like in China, in Shanghai, or in Brazil, you know. So what happens that even if that family is smaller, you still have to cope with several new colleagues, managers, and every manager and design team has specific projects. So if someone is working on a project, there's another team working on other projects, and sometimes they work together, sometimes they don't work together. So every designer team does things that sometimes are different from the other. So you will learn the diversity into the design approach, work approach. But of course, the most important thing when you get into a company is that you have to understand the brand. You have to really understand what the company is and what's the story of behind that company. I hope that before you postulate for the designer job, or you had an internship probably in that company, you already made some research about the history of that company. But what is very important is that you will learn about all this, and you have to start understanding how you have to appropriate yourself of that philosophy, so that you can really understand it, and you can justify then your creativity toward that type of design philosophy. I want to make it with a very simple example, so it's going to be much clearer. If you go and do your nice, perfect job of making a beautiful small projects or ideation, just simply with your creativity, without considering that company's philosophy, what happens is that you risk to show something that is creative, but cannot be used by that design team for that specific project, because it's not really in agreement with what the brand and the company wants to go. So this is probably the hardest thing to do at the beginning, is really to understand how you're working for the company, what the company means, where that company wants to go, because every company have their strategies, of course. We know where we are today, but we are thinking where we will be in the next 5 years, in the next 10 years. Therefore, all the efforts in the research development departments like design, but also advanced engineering, to work together, it's really for that. I mean, if we know that in 5 years we want to have those technologies and we will have those markets that will be our reference, I don't know, younger people, whatever, then we have to think for that. We cannot make a project that's perfect for my grandmother or my grandfather, So this is just a very, how can I say, nice way to explain to you how important it is to understand the company philosophy and the company strategy. Because within that strategy, we have the design strategy, the product planning strategy, the marketing strategy, the engineering strategy. And behind those strategies, there is a lot of money because the money, it's the investments. So all those things that must go together. And how do they go together? They go together because we have top managers, okay, that decide together the policy, what we have to do, what we should do, you know, what we have to aim, which are the targets and stuff. And then everybody, of course, coming down, will give their contribution in every department to make sure that all together, just like a big orchestra, okay, everybody will play their own musical instruments correctly, so that at the end we have nice music. So basically that's it. So what's gonna happen to you when you will start your first designer experience in your first design studio? You will be observed, especially the first 6 months. You cannot think that because everybody told you that your portfolio was perfect, was great, brilliant, automatically you come in and you want to say, hey guys, you have to do as I tell you to do because my portfolio is great. There is a big difference between the school time, when you were in school, which is something that you, by that time, you know really, really well. You know, it's like your second home, all right? And another thing is when you get into the real design world, because the people that will be with you will be your colleagues, but not your students' colleague. And your managers and directors will not be your teachers. They will be your managers and your directors. And this means, very important for you to understand, this means that because they are not your teachers, the way they will react to you if you do something that is bad, okay, whether it's your behavior, whether it's your project, whether it's your creativity, whether you have a lack of something, it's going to be different than a teacher. A teacher would help you, would probably tell you very bad that you have to improve your skills, blah, blah, blah. But then at the end, we'll try to help you because you are in school. And in school, you have to learn how to improve. And you have to push to improve. And the system has the tools to help you to improve so that you can make an excellent portfolio. But once you are inside the real design studio, that system is different. It's not school. It's real work. So the people will react to you differently. And this is something that you must understand right away to make sure that you can defend yourself. Because sometimes there are some situations very strange, very awkward. You know, in my past I've seen few, okay, where talented people that we thought they were talented, and then we discovered they were a little bit less talented, created problems. And because they were very stubborn, you know, with their head very, very hard, one time you talk to the person, be careful because you're doing these things, it's not very nice. I can tell you that if you do that way, it would be better. And then a few months later, you talk again, and the people don't listen to you. That's very, very bad, because what happens? In the very early stage of their design career, they put themselves in a very dangerous situation. Because one thing has to be very clear to you. Before we get to the creativity aspect of your job, a responsibility, you have to understand that within a design team, there are a lot of people. And today, since many years, people from many different countries, so different cultures, different way of reacting, it's normal. But that's also the richness of the experience. Because the fact of being so many from different countries, and you have the cream of this international creativity all together, in which everybody is very good in doing things, in designing, in making modeling, in presenting, in promoting, you know, then this is really beautiful, because in such experience, such environment, you can have an incredible experience. You will become a richer person. more than just being in your country or in your room sketching by yourself, of course, or being in a small design studio of a small company. So what you should you do? You should start your experience being very open-minded, being very, of course, the education is the basics. You know, you have to be very educated. You will never behave at work, even when you are mad, the same way you would do at home. You won't do that. At work, there is a certain code of behavior, not written, but which is just a good sense and good education policy that we should all have. And this is because we have to make sure that within the teams, there is always the basics of the education and the respect, mutual respect. I respect you, you respect me. And even if we don't agree, and if your manager tells you did a work that looks like shit, we'll never say that, but similar, okay, because maybe he's very mad, this does not mean that he's not respecting you. It's about work. And in a very modern environment, very contemporary, where sometimes language can be a little bit colored, it's not such a scandal. But what is very important is to understand that on the personal aspect, on the personal side, we must have a strong mutual respect. Then there is another thing that you have to keep in mind, is that when you start, of course you will be a big listener more than a big talker. Why? Because at the beginning your experiences in the real world is zero, right? We have your creativity, we have your skills, we give you the tools, the nice desk, computer, whatever you need, everything will be there. You know, there are some designers have 2 screens to display because they work better like that. They will have the 2 display, no problem. In the big companies, you can have that. You can have that. You can have your coffee maker, whatever. But what is very important is that at the very beginning of your experience, you want to be a good listener, because you should be a little bit like wait just a second, because I have to give a message, unless somebody is going to call me. Just a second. Sorry guys, huh? Just a second. Okay, I'm sorry. Okay, so let's come back to us. So basically, what we have to do is that at the very beginning, you know, you are like a sponge, you know, you are like you have to become rich of all the new things that you discover in the design studio. And when I talk about design studio, it's not just the fact that you will meet new people. Check their work. Ask them to explain to you the projects they're making. And see if you realize, between all the projects that are there, if you realize how they are working on the code design elements to make sure that that brand is well represented, or which one the new code design they're working on to refresh the brand image. You know, you get into a deeper thinking, design thinking process that, of course, at school you didn't have. So here you have to understand that you have to make that extra step to take off your clothes of students, even if you were an excellent student, all right? And then get your new clothes of a car designer or designer. And this goes through several steps, several things. So the new code designs, you will see some elements in common between the several projects that are being developed in that studio. Okay, so so you what you have to do that, study that, ask questions. Why did you do that? Why did you do this? This is very important because it makes you think and understand how professional designers are able to interpret some top management request on their model, the way they sketch. You know, you can make a front face in a way, you can have the same elements and make it in a completely different way. But when you see the two alternatives, one fits that brand and the other one is not fitting that brand at all, even if it's a very nice design. And you alone will not be able to discover this. You will not be able to see that. But if you learn and you have trust in your management, then in that relationship, you will learn that day by day. So this means that you have to be very humble, because it's very important. And the fact that you have to be humble, it's something for everybody, not only for you that you are new, but especially for you because you are new within the team. So it is very important that and of course, I'm not saying that because of all this you don't have to keep your how can I say, keep and defend your personality. For example, myself, I have a very strong personality also at work, but always trying to be humble, always listening to people, always making sure that I respect people, always not imposing what I think, but trying to share my opinion and my vision in trying to, how can I say, translate the request or what people say into something that can be shared between the whole team and make sure that everybody at the end is happy. So keep your personality, because if you have been hired, you have been hired for that too. You know, when we hire somebody, we don't hire this somebody only for the skills that, of course, they are good and their creativity. No, we hire this somebody for the education. We hire this somebody also because it has character. So it's somebody that can start as a designer, but maybe can go into management one day. You know, because it's order. It's someone that is he really knows how to give priorities. You know, we study several things because he's somebody that is very open-minded. You know, so all those characteristics are very, very important. Okay, they are very, very important, and you have to make sure that during your experience, all those type of elements that belong to you start getting into the day life through you and accept it correctly. Okay, so I give you an example. If we make a presentation and there are several designers, okay, one subject, several designers are in competition, and then we have one, let's say you, that you're new, you for the first time you put your work up, okay, and then of course comes to the time you have to present your work, your creativity, and you explain what you say, and then people will start reacting and give you feedback and making critiques, which is normal. If you see that people in a very kind way give you critiques always on few particular elements, it's useless that you insist, because they are not telling you, look, this is not good at all. They are trying to be very polite in asking you to try to do those things in a different way. And this is a way to help you to get onto the right track and put your creativity on the right track. If you are stubborn in answering back and saying, no, I don't, I'm sorry, I don't agree. I respect you, but I don't agree. You that are so new, it's you might be right, but chances are that most of the time you will be wrong. So what I want to say with this video, okay, that in a few minutes will end, is that we what we expect from you when you start work. We expect how you well behave within a team. This is number one, because we want to make sure there is harmony in the studio and that you really understand and follow the company policy and also the design team policy, because each team, each departments has their own policy. And then at the same time, we will start analyzing how you take your creativity and how you use your skills and what is the level of your skills, to make sure that those two elements, that which are the most important ones, will be on the right channel to give the best results in a short time. So we are not expecting that in 3 months you make the best car design in the world and we are all happy and we have the concept car ready to go on the show from you. No, we don't. We want you to learn step by step, but also to give us. And the moment you give us creativity. So your creativity will be judged. Your creativity will be analyzed to try to understand what is really good of your creativity, what is really not mature of your creativity, because of course that's normal. At the beginning it's very normal. And how we can help you to make sure to give you the right indications or instructions so that the next time you will be more prepared, that you will improve your work. And the most important thing is that the next time to come, when you will show again your work, that improvement is there. And the improvement, it's mainly two things. A corrected creativity to make sure that the design, ongoing, work in progress, it's, how can I say, compatible with what we are looking for, more or less. We don't know yet, but looking at the different designs offers, we get an idea of where we could go, so that your stuff can be with the others, so in the right track, all right? Even with the difference that you must have, because your creativity is different from the others. And then we'll see how you support and how you integrate all this work within the design team, all right? So those are the big first things that we as managers or as older designers with the more experience are expecting from a young designer that has no experience and comes into the design studio for the first time. And then of course you will discover other alternative things that are very, very pleasant, very nice. For example, there are some design studios that organize cultural events, 2 or 3 cultural events per year. All right, now with the COVID, it's a little bit difficult. Basically, we don't do this anymore at the moment, but there are some studios that organize all that, all right? And that means a few days visiting shows, furniture show, industrial design week, motor shows, and also architecture stuff. Things that help us to expand our knowledge in terms of design, environment, society, trends, things that will help us to understand where society is going, how the young people, which is the future generation that will probably buy or use one of our cars or our services, it's moving on. What do they like today? What they might like tomorrow? Or a high technology show to understand and have a clear idea how technology is moving and what we can expect in the next 5 years and how this can affect our creativity. Because when we have new technologies to implement on our cars or our vehicles, of course, we have a huge opportunity to change things and to make them look more functional, better, and beautiful, you know? So the 3 important things together: cost efficient, performing, high performance, and beautiful, you know, sexy, catchy. Wow, that's what I meant. So there are other things that then you will discover is that when you become a car designer, you enter in what we call la filière carrière, the career, you know, the career path, right? So of course you start here, but you could go up and end up here after, I don't know, 10 years, 20 years, 15 years. And this is very good because there are lots of benefits and lots of good things. Now, if we don't talk about the economic status of the job, the contracts or the changes, because I'm not very expert about that, on the job point of view, it's very interesting because if here you have only the experience, the responsibility of showing your creativity and participating into design projects, and sometimes you will be chosen and some other times you will not be chosen. When you move up and you move up with the responsibilities and you start meeting other people within the company, because you will be part of meetings of several type of presentations, and then you move up because you become a manager, and when you become a manager you have other responsibilities and stuff like that, and moving up, then you understand that the whole thing becomes much more interesting, because it's not just making a good project, it's really trying to make that project from the beginning until the very end, and being responsible of an important part of the project life within the whole company, not just design. And this is very interesting because this puts you in a different type of society, I would say, or environment, professional environment. And you will start learning, meeting important people from other departments, people that have responsibilities like you. So you have to understand that when our first dream is, I want to design a car. I know you go to school and your first dream is, I want to make the car. Many of you say, I want to design a Ferrari. I want to design a Porsche. I never said that, but anyway, I want to design a car. But the car is really the beginning of a big adventure. Maybe you will design parts of that car or an interior, not the whole car, just the interior, the dashboard. But then people will discover that you are very good in managing, you have a good taste, that you really know interiors really well. Then you might help the interior design management or for the exterior. Okay? So this is to let you understand that when you start as a designer, there are lots of things can happen. Now I have almost 31 years of experience. In January it will be 31. And I can tell you I changed few companies. I've taught in several design schools. I met a lot of people. I had a lot of students, okay, with some of who I am still in very good relationship. I'm very, very happy to see their progress, and they are big. Some of them are really big, important people. So I'm very happy, very proud of them. And it's nice. If I look back, the first day I went to Fiat Design Center, I did not imagine that all this could have happened. So now you know that when you work on your portfolio and you are eager to get out of school to get your first job, it's not just sketching the car, all right, or some details of a car. There's a lot more, but all depends on you. How do you behave? How people can appreciate you? How useful are you for the team? How helper, facilitator are you for the team? Remember, it's very important. When you have a boss, you can have two, basically, this is more or less for everybody, two attitudes. The first one is that you go to your boss every 2 days a week. Shit, I had this problem. I don't know what to do. I mean, you are very important. Can you help me out to write an email to that person that is not listening to me because I have to realize this, or I have a problem. My colleague is not helping me to do, I don't know, a model, and I have not much experience, and he said that he would help, he didn't help me. You are the boss, can you tell him please to help me? This is the first attitude. The second attitude you can have within the team, okay? Don't worry, I know that he is not available now, but I will find someone else. Don't worry, I take care. And if you are managing a project, you go there and you go with results. We have a solution A, solution B. I prefer solution A. But if you want solution B or a mix of the two, no problem. You tell me and we get an agreement, and after I will act. So you can notice there are two very different attitudes, because that's what you will find on the job. The people that always crying, I'm not the guy to this, I don't get that, I don't know what to do, please help me. Those people in reality become a problem. They are a problem for management. And this is not nice, because if we give you some responsibilities, it's because we believe you can solve problems, not adding problems. So the one that has the second attitude, the very positive one, don't worry, I take care. And maybe after it's going to be really hard, because this happened to me, but don't worry, you will find always a way. But it has this good positive attitude to say, don't worry, keep calm, we're going to find the solution. So problem solving, very important. We learn this in school, problem solving, which is probably the core business of design and design management, all right? Well, if you are able to do that, that'd be great. Then you can only have all the people that like you. It's not because you're only doing that. It's also the way you do that. So if you are a federator of people, somebody that keeps the team united, that is there to solve problems, that it's never crying that I have to do everything by myself, it's not nice, and the other one doesn't do enough, why always to me? If you're not like that, things will go better. And even if sometimes you think that it's not fair, it's not a fair play, it's fine. One time I had a boss, I cannot say his name, but one time I had a boss, American, all right? He became very famous in BMW, so maybe you understood. I was very young. And one time he called me in his office, it was in Italy, and he said, hey Luciano, you know what? You're right. And I ask you to take the responsibility of this and that. And that was the first time he was giving me responsibility. But I also had other small projects. And I said, okay, but I have also other stuff. Don't worry, I know you're going to make it. Unless I wouldn't have asked you to do it. Now, this, at the very beginning, to me, I thought, that's because I always say yes. And now, after I understood, that was the start of a trustful relationship in terms of responsibility. I know I can give to this guy things that sometimes are hard because I know he can handle it. And that's a good thing. And of course, I learned this later on because I was very young. And today it's one of the strong things that a lot of people say that I have. But it's fine. It's true. That time I was a little bit overworking, but it's okay. No big deal. I mean, in school, how many times we did the all night without sleeping because we are making our model? I mean, who done Art Center, CCS, those big schools, they know what I'm talking about. So, to work in reality, at least we can sleep at night. We have a private life. When we were in school, we didn't have that. So when you go to the work, you understand that there is also this big difference, which is very nice. When I'm in school, I have no really private life. And I'm always under pressure, just for a school project. But when I'm at work, I have time for myself. I can sleep at night. I can take a weekend off. And then I have also the time, 8, 9 hours, 10 hours to work, depending on the contracts and the companies. Okay, so I know, hey John, you are there, sorry I didn't see you. The sky is the limit. Yeah, it's true, the sky is the limit. The teacher used to say, what? For us here in school, the timing, the day is made of 24 hours. So that's basically the synthesis, perfect synthesis, okay? All right, so I think I said everything. I hope that you can, if you want, you can share this video. I need a lot of visualization. So share it if it has been useful to you. I hope that the people that ask me the question to talk about this topic have been there, or they will see this video, all right? And then I will promise to you I will make more life now that we have some days that we work from home. So I am less in a rush and I can organize myself really well, just like today. I would like to take a photo from here to show you all the setup. It looks almost professional. Okay, well, thank you very much. Ciao. Share this video. Ciao, John. Nice to have you again with us. Bye bye, and talk to you soon.